All right, audio's going on.
Oh, okay. All right, I think we're ready to go. Getting back. Whoops, my bad. That's on me. Turn your microphone up, buddy. Time being 9 a.m. on March 20th, 2025. I'd like to call this meeting to order of Kane County's Public Service Committee. Clerk, please call the roll.
Oh, right.
I couldn't hear you either. Yes, here.
Gums. Lewis.
Lewis
Sturgis.
remote.
Lewis is remote.
Lewis.
Thank you, Lewis. Sturgis. Tepe.
Be here.
Young. He is here. He is here.
He was here.
Yeah.
Sanchez.
Be right back. All right, we have a quorum. Have no, Ms. Lewis, were you going to participate online?
Yes, if I could, please.
Okay, any objections to Ms. Lewis participating remotely? Hearing none, she is part of the meeting.
Thank you much.
Approval of the minutes, February 20th, 2025. Someone.
Tepe asks for
please take a vote.
unanimous consent.
All right, Tepe asks for unanimous consent to approve the minutes of February 20th, 2025. Any objections? Hearing none. Minutes are approved. Public comment. I have nobody signed up. You guys want to see me here, but they don't apparently.
Don't
I
take
don't
it personal.
I got to remember that. All right, finance on the report is online. Same with the recorder. Treasurer collector, Mr. Lawson.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. My written report was filed maybe 6-8 days ago. No major changes there. Where we are in the office currently is the coordination of sending out the tax bills that go out about May 1st. They'll go to 195,000 plus taxpayers parcels. We'll be collecting $1.5 billion. The interesting thing about that process is that if we have one digit wrong in one place, thousands of those bills are wrong. So it's like you try not to think about that too much because I guess it's like playing basketball and shooting like tight. But the thing that makes it a pleasure to serve our mutual constituents in that area is the work that Jack Cunningham and John Emerson do as far as the extensions. Again, smallest mistake, big consequences. Mark Armstrong in the assessment office, I literally have a file of letters that he sends out in reply, and he copies, some of the rest of us, and they are like a case study of not only how to respond, but the practical, what the practical answers to the questions. In our office, it boils down to Maria and then her team of Michelle and Veronica, and then our seasonal people. Again, so much of what all of the agencies, all the offices and departments do is just taken for granted. And I hope that that doesn't lead to people thinking, well, then we can just do it at a lower standard. Just the fact that like Maria and Veronica are bilingual, Elizabeth in our office also in customer service, it's hard enough to, when you're in the same language, even in English, trying to explain some of the things in the property tax law. But can you imagine trying to do that between languages if a Hispanic taxpayer comes into the office? And so naturally to have Maria, Veronica come up and in a very friendly way, immediately make the connection, put everybody at ease, get the job done. There's a lot of controversy these days around diversity, but that diversity is something that's extra value added in our office. And it's a joy to watch that every time I see it. Also then Cindy, Christopher in our office with Kathy Elizabeth and then Super Duper Cooper. The customer service, we do have people who come back repeat. They're treated with a lot of respect, courtesy, empathy. I am finding I am finding that a number of the more difficult problems are older people who are, our minds slow down and it's harder for them to grasp, well, okay, how do I get these exemptions? So I bring down the inner workings of the different exemptions. For instance, the senior freeze versus the senior deferral, that you want to first freeze a lower assessment so that if you're going to defer the taxes through basically borrowing from the state of Illinois, you want to do both of those at the same time. Our staff's very sensitive to making sure that people do it in a way that's best for them. I'm very grateful for the work that they do. We're always looking for opportunities to improve, communicate, sending out the bills through email is something that we're looking at, certainly not for this year. We want to just make sure that everything goes smoothly this year. But any ideas that anybody has where you say, well, this is where Treasurer's Office might be able to approve, we're always open to your suggestions. So thank you. That's what I have this morning.
Any questions for Treasurer Lawson? All right, thank you, Mr. Lawson. Mr. Armstrong is not here this month. You should all have received an email earlier this month. He's in a training down in Normal. There's a big training going on for countywide elected officials. His report is on file, so if you have any questions, just please send him an email. Regional Office of Education.
Good morning, Deanna Oliver from the King County ROE, Assistant Superintendent. With me today is Jimmy Pawolo, who is our liaison with the McKinney-Vento program. We had our spelling bee last night, and Yaya from Larson Middle School in U46 was our winner. This is the second year in a row that he's won, and he's an amazing young man, and he's worked really hard. So we're really excited to be sending him to the National Bee. So be looking for him to participate in that. So it's, if you haven't been to the spelling bee, it's single-handedly one of the most stressful times in your life, even when you don't have a child in it. It's truly amazing. And you find out really how much you can spell and how much you know definitions of words. And the word last night that he won on was intersperse. So yeah, so that was
Got an easy one.
Yeah.
that. Well, he had, so when you get that last round, you have to spell 2 words correctly, and he
nice.
did it. So we're really proud of him, and he's really a wonderful young man.
Quick question. So was this a county-wide?
It is.
Bee?
It's a countywide bee.
Is there a statewide bee? Because I
There
heard you.
is. There is not.
Okay.
So we participate, basically how we set it up is the schools have their kind of own internal bee. Then they send a representative. We do 2 different events, one in the north end of the county and one in the south, and take the top participants, usually 7 or 8, depending on if there's a tie. And then they come to the regional bee that we host at Thompson Middle School. We're grateful for them to allow us to use the building, and then we do that there, and then we select a winner, and then pay for the student and a custodial parent to go out to the event. So it's pretty neat. Educator of the Year, you may have seen some promos go out already. You'll be receiving your invitation as county board members the first week of April, and the event is held on May 2nd. So we're excited to have 46 nominees representing every school district in the county. So we're excited about that. But the reason Jimmy's here today is that we like to showcase one program from our office each time we come in. And so we want to showcase this time our McKinney-Vento homeless program and talk a little bit about what that service actually provides. So through a grant through the Illinois State Board of Education, we're able to provide not only Jimmy Pawolo's salary and benefits, but also support kids and things that they may need to remove barriers from school. It could be school supplies, it could be laundry detergent, it could be just helping support either an unaccompanied youth or a homeless family into understanding school, getting them enrolled in school, and sometimes understanding the structure of individual school districts. There's a lot that kind of goes into it. Each school district is required to have a liaison, a point of contact that Jimmy kind of goes to when if events may arise in a district or there's some awareness issues. So the districts, we can locate anyone from preschool all the way through their senior year in high school. And so that's kind of the identification. I know sometimes people have this vision that it's always kids that are homeless is defined as, maybe people living in a car, but they could be in a car. They could be doubled up with another family. It could be that their housing really is so substandard that they would meet the requirements under the federal McKinney-Vento legislation. And so we have been a little bit more proactive, I think, in that we've ensured over the last few years, especially since COVID, that if there's mental health supports needed for a student, that we provide those as well. And so in our office, we'll have lots of supplies that Jimmy has access to. We've done winter coats, boots, gloves, some of those things that our own children probably take for granted that our kids may need just to simply participate in school or a school activity. And so we never want to make kids feel less. And so if they want to, try out for basketball and they need sneakers, we may help to get those sneakers. Of the school district will say, we've got an account for that or whatever. So, part of Jimmy's work is not only to, make sure that there's no barriers to enrollment, but also that families and the liaisons in the school districts feel supported through professional development. Any questions?
Any questions? Ms. Gray?
Of course. Jimmy, I'd be glad to work with you. One of the things I love about King County is I love all that, but what our schools do themselves, what our churches do, what not-for-profit groups. I know my Kiwanis Club does a backpack drive, several. I'd love to see that kind of at least made aware of each other, because there's probably some economies of scale or some efficiency or some, we're focusing here and maybe somebody could work over here. So I'd be glad to, I'm not the source of any of this stuff, but be glad to work with whomever, whether it's you or somebody else, Jimmy, to try and do a better job of coordinating all the good stuff that's going on in the county.
Yes, absolutely. That is.
You got to get close.
All right. Yes, no, absolutely. I'd love to connect with you offline. A big part of what I do too is, I sit on the King County COC board. A big piece of my job as well is just being out in the continuum of care.
Thank you.
Sure. So a big part of what I do is I'm out in the community spreading awareness. I visit some of our emergency shelters on a monthly basis just to give parental talks so parents know what their rights are under the law when it comes to schooling. The law that I'm speaking of is the federal McKinney-Vento legislation and also the Illinois state law that covers the same. But yes, I would love to connect.
Excellent. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Mr. Sanchez, if I may.
Mr.
And then
Roy?
Lewis after that.
Okay.
I came from the East Royal School District. I was there for 10 years on the school board, and we had 150 homeless students in our district, and it was hard just to find little things like gloves and stuff, and people always volunteer, but there was no central place to go to. Our last construction of the high school, we built food pantry in conjunction with the Marie Wilkinson Food Pantry, so anything the ROE can do to, I'm no longer on the board, I still talk to the board members all the time. I think so does Ms. Lewis, to connect our homeless students with services from the regional board. Thank you, Mr. Sanchez.
Ms. Lewis?
Yeah, so I think that we, ROE, the school districts, we do a really good job with the McKinney-Vento people that live, or families that live, like at Hesed House, for example, or at one of the shelters, those we know. And I think where we really fall, which I don't know how you do this, is the ones that are couch surfing, the kids that, have attendance problems because some days they get to school because they, get a ride, but they don't really have a permanent, day in, day out structure to them. And those are the ones that I think, we see, they're not getting the proper education. They're not getting what they need because they're they don't have a solid address.
So I'll just respond to that. I think the districts are responsible, the school of origin, of making sure that they have transportation to and from school. And so I think sometimes we have kids that bounce so much that once they have transportation, then the kids go to another home and then they have to kind of realign transportation. But the districts are responsible for providing that transportation. And then just to respond to the question about U46, there is a centralized location project. What is
It's Project Access, which is located in the U46 Family and Welcome Center. Just to follow up on the doubled up families, our couch surfing, students. One of the big things that I train on is when districts identify families as McKinney-Vento eligible, they fill out what's known as a common form. It's Illinois State Board of Education, generalized form that's used to identify McKinney-Vento students, and then it's put into their student information system. And on the back of that sheet is what happens is they ask for families to list anybody else that's living in that household, maybe not even a true family member, but maybe somebody that they're sharing housing with. But yes, our couch surfing or our doubled up families, there are far and away our largest number of McKinney-Vento eligible students that make up our McKinney-Vento eligible population. And those are going to be the ones that are harder to identify. So my advice would be that, if you do ever run into some of these families that are not receiving the services that they're entitled to under the law, please send them my way. And I'll be sure that they are A, identified, and B, have transportation that's set up for them, because that is one of their rights under the law as well.
Sorry, one more follow-up question. So these days I'm working at the Wilkinson Food Pantry, and so if I get somebody that comes in like that, do I send them to you or do I send them to East or West, school district, depending on where I think they're at?
Sure. So, I mean, if there's problems with enrollment, I would say come to me, basically
Okay.
meaning that the school district, they've talked to the school district and for whatever reason, they haven't gotten what they've needed.
Yeah.
Then it would come directly to me. But I would send you to the McKinney-Vento liaison, both in East Aurora and West Aurora School District, if they are facing needs so that they can get identified.
Okay, because I think that might be some of the problem, because we have a lot of people that, are just, well, people are on the move right now.
Yep.
And they do come here because they need food. So anything that we can do at this pantry or any of the rest of them to, get these kids things we need to. So that's why I just wanted to start the discussion. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or comments on this? Thank you for your presentation and all the work that you do. I think it's very important that it's done. So many people fall through the cracks. So
He's amazing.
and then regarding spelling bees, I remember I won the middle school spelling bee. Went out of the district, got in the top 3, and I lost on the word toboggan.
Oh, that's a hard one.
T-O-B-O-G-G-A-N.
Toboggan.
Yep.
Somebody
Yep.
check, is that
You're right.
See? I learned after that.
Okay,
2 G's.
We use that a lot at the county.
Yeah, I use toboggan all the time.
maybe we should have
And
a
interest
county
rates.
scout spelling bee.
Yeah, no.
Oh, I would fail now. I wouldn't even make it through the first round of the grade school
Yeah.
spelling bee. But
Cat.
back then I was pretty sure. Cat.
K-A-T, that's
Yeah.
an easy one.
All right, let's move on.
Perhaps we could have a county board spelling bee.
Yes, let's do that. I'm willing to do that.
Give you another opportunity.
Yeah.
I'd vote for the geography bee.
All right, Veterans Assistance Commission, Mr. Zimmerman.
Good morning. Thank goodness for spell check. I was not a spelling bee, didn't even participate. Pretty light report this month. We brought in almost $1.8 million in new benefits through January of this fiscal year. I'll mention that next Thursday evening, we're participating in what they call Operation Warm Welcome with the VA and some other organizations targeted at veterans who have recently separated from the military. That event will be held at the Batavia VFW. It's spearheaded by Hines VA, but also the Kane County Veteran Suicide Prevention Task Force. So while it is targeted toward the 10 or so veterans that get out of the military and come back to Kane County every month, it is open to all veterans. So with that, I'd be happy to take any questions you might have.
Any questions for the Veterans Assistance Commission? Oh, Mr. Gray.
It's not a question, but, echo. I don't think so.
Microphone on Zoom.
Should be off. There, thank you, Blair. I didn't pass the IT spelling bee,
Mhm.
but just wanted to comment positively about what you guys do. You know, all the departments we hear from here have a job, right? And you do the job. But I get the sense when I hear from you each time that you go way beyond that job. And many departments do. I'm not slighting anybody, but it's a privilege as a, you know, having spent some time in the military, but having a lot of friends who are struggling with lots of crap that they went through in the military, and how well and how welcoming you guys are, how you really care about people. That's not your job. You go way above your job for that. And it's very much appreciated. You know, I just wanted to thank you guys. It's not just you, but as you know, but everybody, thank you.
Thank you for that comment. And we do have a great team. Very proud of the team. We're the only Veterans Assistance Commission in the entire Chicago area that's completely staffed by veterans 100%. And we also have a lot of community partners like Hines VA Hospital, all of the folks who participate in the Kane County Veterans Treatment Court that do a lot too. It's not just us. Appreciate that though.
Now, I was at an event recently, at the VFW in West Dundee. It was the Northern Kane County Chamber of Commerce Women in Business luncheon type thing, and it was hosted at the VFW, and the commander there, you know, was giving his speech and letting us know what, you know, the activities they were involved in. And I asked about, you know, working with you guys, and he's, oh my God, they're great. They're like, we never have to worry. Like, they got our backs. They take care of things. So it was good to hear that report, because not that I don't believe you, but when I'm out there, it means a lot to hear that we're really representing our veterans in Kane County very well.
I'm glad to hear that because they're my boss. So the two representatives from each of the military posts, veteran service posts in Kane County, form a board that controls the operations of our office. So I'm very glad to hear that. Thank you.
Review. Mr. Roth.
Roth here. Jake, do you have a flyer for that event in Batavia
I
coming up?
do. It is on our social media pages, but I can, it's posted on our bulletin board as well. But if you stop by on your way out, I can
Okay,
get you one too.
alrighty, thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
I had my hand
wait.
up.
Ms. Lewis, is that you?
Yes, it is. I had my hand up, but
Oh,
I know how hard that
sorry, I
is to
didn't
see.
look.
No, I know how hand. So, Jake, I was at,
Oh, can
in
you speak
Springfield
up
the
just a
last-
little bit? Is it
Oh.
possible?
yes, absolutely. Is that better?
Maybe.
Maybe. I'll yell.
You were coming in louder before. I don't know what happened. Technology, yeah.
Yeah, could be. So anyway, I was in Springfield the last 2 days. And they were talking, two of them they were talking about was a couple bills that are affecting veteran assistance. House Bill 2720 and House Bill 2689. And there was a lot of lively chatter. I think that some of the veteran commissions are not run as nearly well as ours. So thank you for that. And I can send it to you in an email if you want, but I was just wondering if there's anything that we need to do as a county board, as our legislative group or whatever, to make sure that we get out of these bills what you want and don't hinder what you're doing.
Sure, I appreciate that. I can't say I'm familiar with those two bills exactly. I do know that the Illinois Association of County Veterans Assistance Commissions has taken a stance on some bills, one of them being SB 2018, and some other, that one specifically regarding Veterans Assistance Commissions, but also other ones just regarding veterans benefits and rights across the state. But yes, please send me that if you can, and then
Yeah,
I'll get back with you.
these were both on, unfortunately, property tax levies. And that the VA can get 0.2% like automatically without the county's approval. And so there's a couple bills on this, but I will send them to you just for your reference.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
All right. Sounds like everybody's out of town. Springfield, Normal, what's going on? Missing out. All right. If there's nothing else for the Veterans Assistance Commission, thank you, Mr. Zimmerman, for being here.
Thank you.
County Clerk, Mr. Pollock.
Good morning, but this is the place to be. Who wants to be anywhere else?
This is the place to be. Seriously.
Happy Election Day, 10th day of the election in terms of early voting. And clearly from the snow, you can tell it's the first day of spring. It's always nice to get all 4 seasons in like 3 or 4 days. Gotta love living here.
It'll be shorts
That too.
weather, shorts and t-shirts weathered tonight, probably.
Yeah. And I do have to echo your sentiment on the spelling bee. I won my junior high spelling bee and then the county one. We didn't go to DC after that. We had to go to Chicago. There was a Chicago Tribune spelling bee after here, and that was the buzzsaw. So
I wonder if that was when the newspapers really were more involved and then they've all pulled their funding from the bees.
yeah, that was the humbling experience. I mean, it'd probably been the first round of the national if I'd gone there, but not fun. Anyway, back to reality. Can't live our 8th grade lives anymore. Just want to kind of give you an idea, a quick little, this is a really, everything's going on in our office at this point. So kind of a quick day in the life of what's going on. We'll get to the election stuff because that's what everyone thinks about, but everything else in the office. As Treasurer Lawson mentioned, it's a busy time in terms of tax extension. Our staff are getting those numbers ready so that we can get that over to the treasurer's office to send off those bills. So I hear those discussions over my head. I don't know. Thank God I don't have to deal with that, but they're trying to get all those parcels, get all that stuff done for all the taxing bodies and get everything ready to go. Vital records. If you look at our numbers, it's not just the passports that are we're above our normal. Vital records. We have a lot more people coming in to get those birth records right now, either to apply for a passport or to apply for a real ID. Now, granted, that's a state thing. It's not us, but that real ID deadline is May 7th. And so for people that are planning to get on planes after May 7th, you're going to need a real ID compliant ID. So that's either that real ID with that yellow star from the Secretary of State's office for your driver's license or state ID, or a passport. So we have more people coming in the office, either getting passports, that's one of the reasons, and then also getting their birth records so they can take that to go to apply to Secretary of State's office. Another thing, we're getting ready, the economic interest statement portal is about to open. Those are usually from April to about May 1st. So if you haven't gotten that email as an elected official or supervisory staff, you'll get that to fill out that information. We do that online. If you have any questions, our office handles that. I mentioned the passports. It's record after record. If you look at that sheet on, I think it's page 66, we had 769 in February, coming off the 1,024 in January. You don't see, we've got 15 years of records here. You don't see either of those numbers anywhere in any month. The first 2 months of 2025 beat the first 5 years of this chart for a whole year. And we're not seeing the demand waning. Our staff is stretched thin this time of year. We have to have elections people coming over to help in passports, even though they're running elections and already short staffed. We appreciate that the public is choosing to come to our office. Says a lot about the staff, but it's been nonstop. And so shout out to the staff for handling everything with everything else going on. Obviously the election time, while this election is a little bit less in terms of turnout than the last presidential we had, that's, we still encourage everyone to come out to vote. As I said, today's the 10th day of early voting. We had a later start statutorily because of the primary that we had in a couple jurisdictions. So we weren't able to start until that was certified. I have some little posters and the information guides if anyone needs some. A lot of our information is online. Everything's online. Also on social media, if you're not following our social media sites, I encourage you to do. We've posted, I call it micro targeting. So if you live in your area, we've got one of the posts is about Carpentersville and Algonquin and East and West Dundee. We've got one on Campton. We've got one on St. Charles. We try to push those out. So not that people can't go to the website and look at everything, but okay, where can I vote in my area? So, the candidates are good about sharing it with their constituents. If you guys would like to, we'd appreciate that. And, push people towards that so that not that we don't welcome phone calls, but a lot of the information is there. And if people just want to know, okay, where can I go vote? It's right there. So if you're not already following, we encourage you to and share the information. Also right now we have the vote by mail processing. If you're to come over, you be seeing. In the morning, usually it's the ballots that have come in earlier. The judges from each parties go through, they run through the machine, they're verifying signatures. It's a really amazing process. We had a poll watcher in, and it's been a little bit slow in terms of voting, and the poll watcher had some questions, and clerk went on, gave her a tour, showed her everything going on in the area, went back to the processing room, saw everything, and came back. I didn't know how this all worked. And so it's one of the nice things about the transparency in the office. So when people have questions, we encourage them to come on a tour, and you really get to see everything in action, and you get a lot of your questions answered. In terms of the finances, we're up about 75,000 above last year at this point. Passports and the certified copies of the birth records are driving that. And again, it's all more money we're sending back to the general fund. So I think that's what I've got for now. Any questions?
Any questions for the clerk's office? Okay. Have you heard from people getting these passports if the real ID is a factor in why they're pursuing passports, or people just traveling more?
There have been, every story is different. Some of it's still traveling. There's still the demand for travel. Some people think it's faster to come, don't want to go to the Secretary of State's office and just think it's faster for the real ID. There have been people that are looking to get passports for their children, just to have documentation. And then some people just probably want it for, just because it's a little slower time now in the off season for processing. And I think maybe there are also some fears that if there are more cuts at the federal level, that it's going to take a lot longer if there's less staff to process the passports. Because right now it's about 6 to 8 weeks for a regular one. And there've been times where it's been closer to 15, 20 weeks. So, and if they're cutting staff at the State Department to process things, that maybe take a lot longer. But, we don't know. Not everyone tells us, they want them.
Okay, interesting. All right. Anything else? Okay, thank you, Mr. Pollock.
Thank you.
We have no other business, no need for executive session. I need a motion to place the reports on file.
Deputy, ask for unanimous consent.
Any objection? Reports are on file. Need a motion and a second to adjourn.
Deputy moves to adjourn.
Deputy moves. Gripe seconds. All those in favor say aye.